Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to episode 4 of a series here that I am rebooting called Know Your Minnow, where we take a look at some of the lowlier sides that international football has to offer and learn a little bit more about them. And in this episode, we will be observing the lone Caribbean island of Bonaire. So, as always, let's start off with some information about Bonaire as a country before diving into its national soccer team. Well, Bonaire is part of what formerly used to be called the Netherlands Antilles. That was until 2010 when the name change became the Leeward Antilles. Bonaire consists of one of several chain of islands within the Leeward Islands of the South Caribbean. It is also part of what's known as the ABCs, the ABC Islands, along with Aruba and Curacao. Bonaire is actually a Dutch overseas territory of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, and like their neighbors Aruba and Curacao, it shares some cultural similarities, such as their languages being Dutch and a regional language, a regional tongue known as Papiamento. The capital of Bonaire is I can't pronounce these Dutch names. Kralendijk. It's a very small island with just 114 square miles to its name, with a population of 20,104. Some fun facts about Bonaire. Unlike other Dutch overseas territories, it does not utilize the euro currency that the Kingdom of the Netherlands does. It actually uses the US dollar, the United States dollar. Had no idea about that before researching it, but that's pretty interesting. Another fun fact is flamingos, pink flamingos. Bonaire is known for its large sanctuary of this species in the southern tip of its island, as well as on one of its sister islands, Klein Bonaire. Some things to do in Bonaire include same as the tourist industry in many Caribbean nations. Scuba diving and surfing are among the most popular recreational activities on Bonaire itself. Let's move on to the national team. There's not very much information on Bonaire in general. It's one of the more obscure nations / overseas territories that will be mentioned on this series. So for the national team, the head coach is Brian Vanderberg, a Dutch international. They have never qualified for a CONCACAF Gold Cup in their history, nor have they participated in a Caribbean Cup despite being part of the Caribbean Football Union, the CFU. They have participated in a regional tournament known as the ABC's Cup, using the aforementioned ABC island countries, where they were victorious and won a gold medal in 2011, but that's just about the extent to which Bonaire has had any real success in their brief footballing history since becoming a quote-unquote independent national side just 10 years ago, when the Netherlands Antilles national team broke apart into 3 separate national teams. Recently, their results include 2 wins over the British Virgin Islands in Group B of League C of the CONCACAF Nations League in the 2019-2020 season. They were unsuccessful in being promoted to League B, but they did finish with a respectable 7 points, finishing behind the Bahamas, whom they drew at home 1-1 and lost on the road 2-1. Some noted players for Bonaire include Jermaine Winster, who currently plies his trade locally at Club Rincon on the island. He currently has 3 goals for the Bonaire national team. Something to note also, guys, most of the current Bonaire national team is almost exclusively domestically based, with very few players abroad, and the few that are within the Netherlands, playing in the 2nd and 3rd divisions of that country. We also have Lacy Pauletta, who currently has the most caps of any ongoing player for Bonaire. He has 11 caps also, along with his teammates. His teammate Jermaine Winster plays for Real Rincon at the club level. Guillermo Montero is one of the few abroad players on the squad. He plays for Kazakhstan Boys, I believe, in the Eredivisie 2, the second division, not the top flight. The top scorer in the history of Bonaire is an individual named Jurk St. Paul. He has netted 5 goals throughout his career. And the most capped player of all time for Bonaire, dating back to the year 2011, is Igmard Gisberta, with 13 caps, though he is on the verge of being replaced for that record by Guillermo Montero. Bonaire's home ground in which they play the bulk of their games is the Municipal Stadium located within Kralendijk. I couldn't find a nickname for Bonaire that they currently have, but when they were part of the Netherlands Antilles national team, they were known as Die Antilopen, which translates from Dutch into English as the Antelopes. Overall, Bonaire has a long way to go before it sees its clout raised within the CONCACAF region, and it still is a side that, by far and away, lives in the shadow of its neighbor Curacao, who recently has been up to great things within the region. And even to a lesser extent, they are behind their other neighbor Aruba. But we shall see of things to come from Bonaire in the next few years to see whether they can join their neighbors in achieving some sort of notoriety. Well, that's all we have for this episode. There's not very much information on Bonaire, both as a country and as a national team. Indeed, their time as a national team is barely more than a decade old, as like an independent national team, I mean. So that wraps this up. I hope you enjoyed the video. Leave a comment below, like, subscribe. Who would you like me to cover next? Hopefully I'll see you guys soon, God willing. Until then, as always, peace.